Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. The former multi-belt lightweight ruler, George Kambosos, has announced that he has signed a co-promotional deal with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. This is in conjunction with DiBella Entertainment Inc. and Ferocious Promotions, which is his own promotional company. Now, like I say, he's the former lightweight ruler, and he sprang that incredible upset over Teofimo Lopez, upset of the year without question. That was back in 2021, November. But since then, he's only won one of his last 4 fights, and that was a contentious decision against Maxi Hughes. I thought Hughes edged that fight. I don't believe it was the great robbery that people say, but I think I did have Hughes winning it. But he just hasn't looked the part. And I have a lot of sympathy for George because he has ducked no one. He worked up to that Lopez fight by fighting abroad. He beat Lee Selby in England. Mickey Bay beat him in New York. And then he got the title against the title shot against Lopez. No one gave him a hope in hell. And people say Lopez was ill, Lopez was that. All right, okay, but that's not George's fault. George was the rank underdog, vast underdog, went over to another man's backyard and ripped the titles off him, floored him in the first round, got floored himself in the 10th, but came through some bad injuries. Now, there's no doubt that this guy ducks absolutely no one because he wanted Lomachenko in his fight after that in Australia. Instead, he ended up with Haney because Lomachenko had, other things on his mind with the war in Ukraine. And he lost twice to Devin Haney wide, both unanimous decisions, and he was essentially beaten up in both those fights. How he survived the distance in both occasions. Haney, as we know, was a gigantic lightweight. George couldn't deal with it, couldn't deal with Haney's skills, and just got beaten up twice in Australia. And you have to give Haney respect for going over to Australia twice and beating up their guy. He then came back with the Maxi Hughes win, which was a majority decision. That was in 2023, July. And earlier this year, he fought Lomachenko, finally got a shot at Lomachenko. That was in May of this year. And he got stopped in 11 rounds, the first time he got stopped. So there are a lot of miles on the clock, particularly recently and over the last couple of years, a lot of miles. But if he's got anything left, this advent towards, being promoted, co-promoted by Matchroom with all their DAZN connections, with the Riyadh connections and so on, the good relationship between Eddie Hearn and Turki Al-Sheikh. This is a good move. And George is still only 31, which is not ancient. He's moving up to 140 now. And we'll see what he's got left. Maybe he did outgrow the lightweight division. I'm not so sure, but we'll see, He did say in a press release, I'm officially announcing that I'll be moving up to 140. Being signed to Matchroom will give me my continued success and legacy I want to leave in the sport of boxing. I'm delighted to welcome George to the team, said Eddie Hearn. Well, he would say that, wouldn't he? Of course. George's went over to Teofimo, ripped up the script and showed that George was a man for the big occasion. I agree with that. He's proved to be a massive draw in Australia and one of the real driving forces behind boxing's rapid rise down under. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, boxing in Australia is buzzing, both in the men's and women's codes. And yeah, I mean, absolutely agree with Eddie on that. The 140 division is littered with big names and great potential clashes, and adding George to the mix only raises the levels, with a potential fight against Liam Paro, a real mouth-watering prospect, if Liam can get the win in a great fight with Richardson Hitchens on December the 7th. Yeah. That's going to be what they're aiming for. Paro versus Kambosos. Massive fight in Australia. Colossal. And of international interest as well, I think. I'm glad I was able to make... let me just see if I've... Hang on a minute. I'm losing my track through. Yeah. Lou DiBella also said, I'm glad to be able to make a deal with my old mate Eddie to work with George KAMBOSOS Jr. and Ferocious Promotions. Throughout his career, George has been a warrior who never shies away from a challenge. Now he wants to test himself against the top fighters at junior welterweight. Matchroom works with the best 140-pounders, including George's countryman Liam Paro, and like DiBella Entertainment, is heavily invested in Australia. This is a natural partnership, said Lou DiBella, president of DiBella Entertainment. Yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. This is good, and it will be interesting to see how how much George has got left. They're talking about his first fight under this sort of, you know, unified promotional deal, if you like, early next year, early 2025. And when you consider George has been, you know, again, been beaten up quite badly, and even his win against Lopez, he was battered. And the Maxie Hughes fight was tough. I mean, his last 4 fights, last 5 fights, he's put some miles on the clock. I know I'm repeating myself, but he has. So we're going to have to see what he's got left. I mean, someone like Paro, if he can get through Hitchens, is, you know, that's again a fantastic fight, but he's a lot fresher than George Kambosos and more of a natural 140-pounder. But we'll see. We'll see. I like George Kambosos. I've always liked him. He'll fight anyone. He'll go anywhere. He ducks no one. He says, you know, losses are just, it is what it is. You know, I totally admire and respect and advocate that attitude. And I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. So if you are from Australia and you know, what do you think of this? What do you think of George? What do you think of Liam Paro? What do you think of George signing with Matchroom? You know, Matchroom do have Liam Paro. They've got other Aussie fighters as well. They're connected with Jaya Pattaya. They've got Sky Nicholson on the roster. You know, what do you think about Australian boxing? You know, leave your comments below. Not just the Australians amongst you, but anyone. If you've got anything to say, leave it below, and I'll have a read. And thank you as always for your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you could do that. That'd be great. And also hit the like button because it costs you nothing, and it does help us out a lot. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I will catch you later. Bye for now.